Hey guys, welcome back to the Studley Vlog. Today we are shooting out in Saugus at the Texas fire. So this fire started in the afternoon over in Bouquet Canyon, and the fire burned a good 210 acres. But we got there after the majority of it had already burned, so we documented the rubble. So I was shooting on my Leica M6 with a 35 and a 50mm lens, and I was using a deep yellow filter, and I was shooting on Delta 100 film. I also am shooting on my Sony A-1 II and my Fuji Xpro2 as well. Now, when we had arrived, we had seen some flames, but once we actually got out to the scene, it was just kind of smoldering and a lot of planes dropping because the fire was higher up in the mountains and we didn't want to go hike a mile up a hill. With my buddy Leo. He's been in a couple of my videos, but check his Instagram out. I'll put it in the description. But yeah, so it was burning over here, and all these trees had completely fallen over just from the heat, and we're just up in flames. Being at a fire is such an interesting perspective because it's not something you see every day. It's kind of like you're in a giant movie set with all this smoke and fog going, but it's actually real life, which is kind of sad in a way. But I try to take it and make it into something interesting and something pleasing to look at, even though there's so much destruction. So I'd been shooting with my Fuji 35 1.4, and I switched over to my 23 1.4 just for a wider angle. And then on my Sony, I was shooting with my 35 or my 50 from my Leica, but then I also switched over to an 80 to 200 f4.5 Leica R lens, which is just a great lens, and it just reaches and has such a great zoom. So LA County Fire Department were the first people on scene, and they called in for more backups and actually called for a second alarm response. And ANF, which is the Angeles National Forest Service, showed up. So it was like all the boys were out there fighting. Also, ANF has like the coolest colored fire trucks. They're like this nice teal green. So we ventured further down the road to where there was more fire and came across ABC7 shooting some footage. So most of the fire had burned all the way up to the top of the hill and was on the other side, which we couldn't access without hiking super far. So this was the first time I had seen this type of engine. It looks like a normal water tender, but it has a giant hose on it, and so it was able to spray out like tons of water, and the driver is able to control it from inside the vehicle. Super cool. So because the fire was so high up in the mountains, I decided to get back onto the road, and I walked around a little bit. I found a few cool spots and took a few shots. So we went further down the road a bit and came across this park, which had recently closed, and I walked into it, and there was like a empty river or like pond thing, I think, but it was pretty interesting and took a few shots. So while I was taking photos, a sheriff had driven by and told my friend Leo that we needed to get out of there and that we had 3 minutes to get out. So we ended up leaving and cleared the scene, but we stopped off at Van Nuys Airport and took a few photos. So the fire ended up burning 210 acres and no homes were threatened, but they got it out within 3 days. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Studley Vlog. There'll be more coming out soon, so keep an eye out.